Greetings, friends. Hey, guess what? I'm a scout leader. And as a scout leader, the boys have come to call me the game guy because they know that whenever we go on a camp out anywhere or we go to summer camp or any kind of a overnighter, I'm the guy that always has the board games to play. In order to be sure that I maintain that reputation, I always carry with me this little box. Now, I believe this little plastic box was originally a case for a soldering gun or something like that, maybe an electrometer. I'm not even sure what this was from. But what I found was that it's a real nice size to put games in. So I just thought it'd be fun to share with you what I've got in this little box. I'm not even sure myself. We'll just open it up and find out. But it's always stuff that the scouts can enjoy playing around the picnic table. Turn the weekend into a fun time, of course, once they get all their merit badge work done first. But let's just dive in here and see what I've got. First of all, very important item here. This is a stack of Yahtzee score pads. Everybody knows how to play Yahtzee. I have a little summary of some dice game rules here. And of course some dice. This is a fun little game called Frizzle, I think it is. Colored dice. It's a very straightforward game that you can teach in a hurry. And a lot of fun around the table. Many of you are familiar with this one. This is a game called Age of War, a little dice game by Reiner Knizia. This is a huge hit with the boys. I really like playing this one. And you'll hear an awful lot of shouting when they are going for the big die rolls there. I've got a couple of these in here that are these little chewing gum sized games. Bus and Shh, which is a kind of a clue-giving game. I've got several of those in here. Here's another one called Spy. These are fun little games to play as well when you got quiet time. Little acrylic box here that I've got all kinds of stuff in here. There's dice, there's chips. Some of the chips are marked so that you have a upside and a downside if you want to try to play Othello or something to that effect. Golf pencils, miscellaneous dice. Here's a fun little game. It's called Iota. This is one that was created by a friend of mine, Gene Mackles, and it was picked up by Game Right. It's a shape and color matching game similar to Quirkle and a little more portable than Quirkle. I have here a game of my own invention, which we've played. That's called Rhombus. Keep watch out. We haven't got this one in publication yet. Still prototype here. Hopefully within the next few months we'll get this one into production, so watch for a how-to video on that one. I've got a few print and play solo games. Here's Elevenses, which is kind of a fun one. This one's called Missing Persons. Solo games, of course, you can play as a team. If there's just a couple guys that have their chores done, and we'll just say, hey, here's a game that you guys can play together and kind of reason it out. That's fun. Of course, I'm all about the classics, so I have my dominoes here. And here's one that everybody loves, of course. This is the original version of Flux. I guess you could say it's become a classic nowadays, but it's a really fun and easy game for people to play. This is another game that I invented myself. This is called Victor or Victim. This is a game for 3 or more players in which you are passing cards around the table to either try to spell victor and win, or try to force your opponents to spell victim, which means that they lose. And so that's a fun little challenge. Probably one of the most popular games that I've created myself there is Cardboard. Now, Cardboard is a terrific little game. I've got a video here on how to play. It's one of those fun for the whole family things. No two games are ever alike because there's millions of combinations of the cards. What have I got in here? Well, this is another game of my own invention. This one's called Sancti et Malum, and it's a solo game, but again, you can play it as a team game, and so kind of does double duty. I will probably be doing a video on this one day, too. Here I have, this is a fun little game called Red 7. It's a fabulous little game in which you're playing cards to the table, various numbers and colors. But the key to the whole game is that you have to be in the winning position after every turn. And if you're not in the winning position, you're out of the game. I usually don't like player elimination games, but this one is fast enough that it's easy enough to finish the game and play another round. And Red 7 quite often does get another play. Oh, here's a fun one here, Guillotine. The guys really like playing this game. One of the things about Guillotine is the object of the game is to manipulate people in line at a guillotine, awaiting their turn to get their heads chopped off. A fun pastime, and quite often these guys have said to me, where can I get this game? So I know it's a popular one with them. This is just a regular deck of playing cards. Of course, there's thousands of games you can play with regular playing cards. No Thanks is a terrific little kind of a betting bluffing sort of a push your luck game, but it's a push your luck game that is quite different than anything else I've ever played. And I've got the chips there in the acrylic box to play the game. No Thanks is really fun. This is the instructions to a game called Babylon. It's a little puzzle game. You use the chips. The original game came with little colored rectangular stones, but it works good with chips. Flip 9, another little solo game, sort of a puzzle game. Now, Love Letter, of course. Love Letter is a very popular game, and I've told the guys when we play this that there is a Batman version and a lot of other versions as well. And I've probably got a half a dozen of those in my collection. And so they keep saying, well, bring the Batman version because, you know, they don't want to play this Love Letter with a princess thing. So one of these days I'll have to pack that up and put it in here, I guess. Here's another solo game called Sprawlopolis. These folks have made these little wallet-sized games for a few years. They've got a whole series of, I don't know, there's over a dozen different games in the series. And another version of Sprawlopolis that's a little bit more challenging, I guess, as well. But again, in a lot of these solo games, you can play it as a team. And I think that's a good way to introduce kids to solo games, is to just say, hey, let's do this together, and we'll make some decisions together, and then you can play it on your own. Finally, this is another solo game. This is one I invented, and I gave this away on one of my other videos. And this one's going to be in publication pretty soon. We've come up with a pegboard version of it. And so watch for Jiha. That's the name of this one. Play. I think this is the bottom of the box. And the bottom of the box is this little pamphlet that I put together some years ago. Oh my goodness, this is 20 years old now. But this is basically a summation of rules to games throughout history. And I call it Daver's Little Book of Games. And these are primarily medieval time period, and they're playable with a lot of off-the-shelf components and such, but some of them have special components. And it includes summary of a few card games and so on. And I've been tempted to put this one into production again too. The idea that it's this small and easy to put into a box like this, I think, is very attractive too. So I'm sure that a lot of you folks have got little pouches of travel games that you can easily take with you on a trip or a picnic, family outing, that kind of stuff. If so, go ahead and share those with us in the comments down there. If you have suggestions for tiny little games that provide hours of play and variation, by all means let me know and I'll see if I can fit it into my box. So that's what I've been up to this week. Hope you enjoyed this little presentation. It's not so much a how-to, but just give you a little insight into part of my gaming life. And so no matter where you are, whether you're home at the dining room table, if you're in a restaurant, if you're gathered with friends at some kind of an outing, if you're camping, be sure to play every day.